Hi there yarn jugglers, it's Babs here from My Fiery Phoenix, and today is day 1 of the 5-day Cracking Cables challenge, and I'm going to be taking you through how to knit up your swatch for the Wild Oats pattern. We're going to be working a slip stitch and then we're going to be knitting it through to the left or to the right, and we'll be using a cable needle. So I've just got a little odd end here that I'm using as my cable needle, and we can get going. I'm also using the Stylecraft Genie Aran Weight yarn because it shows up the cables so beautifully. Let's get started. You should have received all of the instructions for creating this particular cable swatch in your email. If you haven't, double check your spam folder and make sure that you're signed up. If you've still got any issues, then drop me a message and I'll look into that for you and make sure you've got the information that you need. The sign up information for this particular challenge is all in the description at the bottom. But we'll start off with row 1, which is nice and straightforward. So we're going to knit 2 and we're going to start slipping our stitches, and we're going to slip them purlwise. So we'll just pop the needle in as if we were making a purl, and then we're going to continue knitting 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to slip another stitch. And I'll just carry on to the end of the row because we simply knit 3 and slip 1 purlwise. So here we are at the end of row 1. Our slip stitches are there, but they're not very obvious at this point. What we're going to do is now move on to row 2, which is purling row, and this will be reinforcing those slip stitches. So we will purl 2 and then slip the stitch. 1, 2, and then here's the stitch that we slipped. As you can see, the yarn isn't going through that stitch, so we just slip it across again, and then we purl 3 and then slip, and I'll continue on to the end of the row. So to start off with, we slip our first 2 stitches onto the cable needle and hold that at the back of the work, and then we knit the slipped stitch, and then we knit the 2 stitches off of our cable needle. And then we knit 1, and then we repeat. So we will take 2 stitches onto the cable needle, hold that at the back, knit 1, and then knit 2 off the cable needle, knit 1, and then continue on repeating that process until the end. And so now we've finished that row, and hopefully you can see we have all the slip stitches now moving up and across to the right. And then what we'll do is set up with those first 2 rows again, where you knit 2, slip a stitch, knit 3, slip a stitch, knit 3, and then on the reverse you purl 2, slip a stitch, purl 3, slip a stitch, purl 3, and then I will come back and show you how to do the slip stitches off to the top left, which was this. Here we are with the setup completed, and we have our slip stitches waiting to start moving in the left direction. And so we start off with a simple knit 2, and then we're going to pick up the slipped stitch on the cable needle, and we're actually going to keep that to the front. Now what I do, rather than just leaving it hanging, I tend to just tuck it into the yarn or the fabric, and then move on. So I then knit 2, And then I'm going to knit one from my cable needle, knit one, pick up the slip stitch, pop the needle into the front so that it holds it there for me, and I knit two, knit one from the cable needle, knit one, and then continue on. So I'll just show you that one last time because it's slightly different. So I pick up, slip stitch, pop the needle into the fabric just so that it holds its place. Unlike when it goes to the back, I don't have spare fingers to hold it, so that's the way I keep that slightly secure. And then we knit that stitch off the cable, and then knit our next stitch, and then we repeat that up until the end.